My ninjas, what's up? Are we live? Live? Is Comcast going to act up during the live stream? The Comcast saga. You wouldn't believe the things that I've had to do, the places I've had to go to resolve Comcast. Last night, I removed the splitter. I was talking with Grok and ChatGPT. We're going to get into the topic in a second, but there was a splitter in my backyard. Well, not in the backyard, in the back area. And basically, this orange cable was coming from the node outside, and it's in this barrel connection, and then it goes into the splitter, and then this line coming from the bottom is from the inside of my house. So it's like, Grok was like, why the hell do you have this? Remove the splitter. So I removed the splitter, and it actually improved the connection and everything. So we'll see. Hopefully, this is kind of like a test stream, but hopefully it'll go smooth. I'm going to jump on a Rumble too. But I see Tim Pool did an official reply with the shooting at his house, but also I see something that's pretty interesting that's happening live right now is Piers Morgan and Nick Fuentes. Piers Morgan and Nick Fuentes is actually kind of a really funny conversation that they're having. I don't know if I could rewind it back a little bit.
I can prove it. I can show you. I can name the names. I can show you the paper trail, the money. That is why we're winning. That is why all of this is raising the consciousness.
Myself, when you talk about world Jewry, I presume you're talking about the 15 million Jews in the world.
Ability.
Oh, before the break.
Soft-spoken guy. I agree with you, and I'll tell you why. Because Ye, if you've ever met him in real life.
I have, yeah.
Okay, well, then you know. He's nothing but polite, considerate.
Actually, he was very rude to me the last two times I interviewed him. He's a supreme narcissist, and he's also...
Well, you keep interrupting me. You're very rude. Are you black? Because you're being very rude by interrupting me right now.
To you.
I'm giving you a hard time, but I do want to finish my point. I do want to finish my point about Ye.
It was a really funny conversation, and at some point Piers Morgan calls out Nick Fuentes because it's like, your dad's Mexican. You're Mexican, man. You're over here talking all this and that and blah blah blah. You Mexican, motherfucker. Or at least part Mexican. It was actually really funny, but I have to watch the whole thing. Milo, by the way, and I covered this yesterday, Milo 109-110, you saw that with you talking about the donations? I saw that. I never even knew the meaning until today. Milo here, he's the one that's been going in on Benny Johnson talking shit. The internet had a little hiccup. The internet's fucking up again. Oh, man.
If you're gay and you're a Republican, I will out you. I will out you. I will fucking out you. Because it's the right thing to do. If you're gay and you're a Republican, I will out you. I will out you. I will fucking out you.
Damn, bro. I've been testing this thing since last night, and it was working. I even up until the stream right now, it was working. And now it's fucking up again. Completely fucking up. Oh, man. So disappointing. Yes. Oh my God.
Was a particularly intense show with a lot of claims made by Milo, which certainly angered a lot of people.
Milo accused Benny Johnson of being gay.
And stories that I told about work behind the scenes. And it was cathartic to have these conversations at a time when the tensions between the left and the right in this country seem to be at critical mass. And now the conflict between different factions of the right appear to be at critical mass. And so some of it felt pretty good, but there are certainly a lot of people that were none too happy with that conversation. But all in all, while I do think there's some anger over the conversations and things that were said, it was a good episode in the authenticity of the emotions that were expressed from Milo to George Santos to myself. I do understand there are many people that are saying Milo's just outright lying and is now being threatened with defamation. What a crazy night. So that night, I did what I usually do. We wrap up, and the guests on Fridays, we go out and we hang out together. Because we wrap the show early, we don't do the members only. In the weeks prior, we have been experimenting with doing pre-recorded episodes of Timcast IRL on Fridays. Because the news usually goes dry in the early evening. And then by the time it's 8 p.m. for live, we already know what the news is. Everyone's kind of checking out. And, you know, Friday night live viewership isn't actually that high relative to days earlier in the week. For obvious reasons, everybody wants to. We were out, and I got a message just around 1 a.m. And it was vague and nondescript. Just there was an incident. We need to talk with your team. And then we started getting the details trickling in that a car had been lurking or something to that effect, and a shot was fired. We now know that it was 3 shots that were fired. We don't know exactly what or why. And we are desperately trying to rationalize. Maybe it's just random. Just somebody was driving down the road in the middle of nowhere in the country and decided to slowly approach our property and then fire several rounds just for no reason, for fun, perhaps. I can't read the minds of these people. In October, I was traveling. My family was back in West Virginia, and we had received a credible death threat, credible as determined by the FBI. We received threats, death threats, quite a bit. And this time, it was a bit more specific. It was intended to terrorize. It wasn't sent to me specifically like many of the threats usually are. It was intended to reach everyone at this company. I immediately contacted police, our security team did, as well as the FBI. I directly communicated with the FBI over this issue, sent them the information. It was relayed to us a short time later that the threat was credible because the individual making the threats had been on their radar. Surprise, surprise.
That's interesting, too, that he says that. I got the connection stabilized. That's interesting that he says that the person has been on their radar. What the hell? How long has this person been on their radar? What's going on here? He goes on to explain the chicken coop thing, too.
This person was actually making comparable threats to other people. They believe they might know who this person was. I'm not sure where that investigation is going. For that reason, I believe that they're actually investigating these people, and we've been talking with them. I'm not going to, publish these emails or the communications that had happened. But the threat was basically to come and shoot up our property. And there were some specifics in it that made us say, okay, maybe this is, it could just be terror, right? So when I return home after going out with the boys on a Friday night, hanging out, laughing, having a good time, none's the wiser. And then we hear security's on high alert. They're monitoring. The extra guys have come out. We pull up. They're standing guard at our perimeter fencing. We have a gate, and said they heard shots fired. They were on the property where our studio is, and they heard the shots, and went and investigated. We have 4 videos of what happened. We don't, well, I'll put it like this. We're not going to be, at this time, for security reasons, I got these people screaming, release the footage.
Yeah, a lot of people have been saying, where's the footage? Where's the audio? Whatever, where's the reports? And some people are, accusing him of like, oh, this is not real or it's fake.
And the concern we have is obvious. To then show everyone where we put our cameras, that's not going to happen. And that's the honest truth.
So he's saying he doesn't want people to know where the cameras are. That's why he's.
That's why I tweeted out, if anybody had been archiving the Chicken City live stream, this is inside of our chicken coop. It doesn't reveal. It's designed specifically not to expose the property, the location, or anything like this. And you would have seen the reaction from the chickens. I know it sounds a little bit silly, but... And so where does it leave us now with what happened? Well, of course, there are some people that don't want us to be having this conversation. Even right now, they're probably furiously preparing tweets, riling up their audience, preparing for shows, people who don't like me for whatever reason, saying that we're lying, making things up. None of this can be true. Charlie Kirk is dead. A couple months ago, he was murdered. We have a suspect. We don't know exactly what happened. There are many questions around how it all went down, what makes sense and what doesn't. Why did Charlie's security team not check the roof access? Well, they said the police told them that they got him covered, but that's no excuse for private security. So this is the conundrum. For us, our security is pretty good. I mean, this is why I think nothing worse happened. And it was just a vehicle firing shots driving by. We've been here for years. We've been here for about 4 years. This has never happened before. And so considering the time we are in, the threats we have received, and the recent assassination of Charlie Kirk, the intelligence assessment is, yes, these threats are real. Not all of them. You know how the internet can be. I want to believe, and I've asked a million times of our security, of our friends, political people in DC, but couldn't it just be somebody was just lurking around and they're just Yosemite Sam, bang, bang, bang for no reason? The response I get from everybody is maybe that's just wishful thinking. Regardless, it's either an omen, it's become too dangerous, even if it's not targeted, or it's gotten to that serious of a degree. So I think any rational assessment is a person driving slowly up, approaching our property. We're in the middle of nowhere, mind you. We're not in a city. That's why we call it the boonies, right? And firing a shot, it's a shot is fired once they become parallel with one of the structures on the property. And then a few seconds later, as they become parallel with our studio, several more shots are fired. 2 more shots. The assessment is aiming at one of the houses and then aiming at the studio. It wasn't just a random pop, pop, pop. It lines up with where the vehicle is at. So I'd love to just say people randomly shoot for no reason. It just doesn't happen. We're out in the boonies, right? There are wooded areas. Most of them, maybe not most, but many of them are marked no hunting. But, people on their properties, they go shooting in the backyard. This we know. This we understand.
I know. The connection's fucked.
The security assessment is this was intentional. This was targeted. Now, what we don't know, were they actually intending to kill? I don't think so. I don't know if it matters. Seems like intimidation. Fire several shots late at night, put our security on alert. And for what reason? People who work here cannot feel comfortable if shots are being fired at us.
Of course not.
Guests we have tried to book have told us explicitly, though this isn't as common,
we ain't
they
coming out
don't
there.
want to come on the show because of these threats.
Damn.
We are 2 months out, as I mentioned, from the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And more people than I think you all realize are going into hiding.